But I mean, rough stuff all around for those guys. And what do you think they really need to do in order to try and bring this back?
I mean, for me, oMarsleezy just didn't look particularly comfortable on the Thor. We saw the engagement there by the 11-minute mark where he's off the mark with the ultimate. The Awilix ban still confuses me. I mean, if your idea is to get pressure in the early game and invade and just immediately put your foot on the throat of the opponent, what god better to get than Awilix in that scenario? The problem now is that if you leave Awilix open to try and get it from oMarsleezy because you're banning Susano, presumably, because let's be real, Most Wanted need to ban Susano away from KhaoticPurpose, then they're just going to take the Awilix away from you. So Most Wanted needs to try and find some sort of answer in the drafting phase.
But most certainly, I completely agree with you. They cannot permit that Susano to go the way of KhaoticPurpose once again. That he was just way too dominant of a factor, completely controlling nearly every single team fight. And then when you put in that he also has Brochacho, he's got Coviiii, just his entire team as a whole backing him up. Like, that is great.
Yeah, absolutely. TheYungHomie and the rest of Most Wanted definitely need to try and find an answer for how strong Astral Authority looked in game number 1. Homie never really got a chance to really get the ball rolling, but clearly his spirits not too down, as he's still having some fun with his mid laner.
And that's always a really important factor to keep in mind. You never want to let yourself get mentally taken out of the game before the competition can even continue. I mean, this guy is just, he's always been a well uplifted kind of guy, easygoing, but he wants people to see that he is a lot more serious this go around. I think that's probably one of the most important parts about Homie right now, is that he's just a serious guy now when it comes to the competition. And I mean, there's not much else to say than that.
I mean, TheYungHomie's just got to try and find the squad around him that can get him to where he wants to be. Most Wanted certainly not out of this one, but has a lot to go to in terms of what they need to do and if they want to beat Astral Authority.
Well, let's find out from Homie himself how he feels about this competition.
Who am I? I'm Martin Ayala from Fall River, Massachusetts. I go by the IGN TheYungHomie, and I play competitive Smite for Most Wanted. My background in Smite really started just like playing a game with my friends, because so I remember watching my brother and I was like, wow, like MOBAs look like sick, you know what I mean? Like, this looks awesome, but I wasn't really messing with the top-down view, like I wasn't really messing with the vision. And I was like, yo, like, is there like any game, like, you know what I mean, like in a first person or like a third person or whatever? And he was like, oh, there's just game Smite. So I remember playing, me and my 2 IRL friends used to play League of Legends. We grinded, and then after the weekend I went back home to my dad's house, and I was just fiending to play Smite. And then the NA kickoff LAN happened, and I remember watching it, Cog Red, a whole bunch of people my age at the time. Yeah, I remember I was like, wow, that's sick, you know what I mean? Like, it just like sparked a fire in me, and I was like, that's something I want to do with my life. Then Xbox came out, I signed up for the beta, got an Xbox. Shout out to my mom for getting me an Xbox for Christmas. You're the real MVP. Then after that, I ended up getting on a team through this like Twitter page. It was like retweeting like free agent stuff. And I made a team. Shout out to Hotbo and my man SoCom. Those are the real homies. You know, those like my actual like brothers in the scene. And then after that, I like stopped playing Smite for a little bit because like my dad was about to beat me for my grades. Then I came back and I got the Kingdom spot. And then I quit that, and then I coached Most Wanted at the time. And then to ALG, we placed 4th at World, sadly, or 3rd, 4th. There was no 3rd place game. And yeah, Cloud gave me an opportunity, and now I'm here. Cloud found me when I was like just some like Xbox like random, you know what I mean? And he was like, we just been hella close since then. Like, I was always supposed to play with Cloud, but then stuff would happen. Like, I was supposed to try out for jungle for the team, but then Sinoshare's like nuts or whatever, he found Sinosure, and I was like, you know, whatever, like I respect it, man, you know, I'm gonna take the back road and chill, coach, and then now it's like no games, like I'm not gonna let anyone take my spot, like this is like what I want, like I'm not playing any games anymore, and I just wanna like grind and become the best. Yeah, this is a lot more serious than the first go.
A lot more serious than the first go. So immediately you can already tell this is his ambition at this point in time.
And they've, I just love the energy the TheYungHomie brings, man. It's just the way he talks. It's so TheYungHomie. There's no other way to put it. He is who he is, and is just unapologetic about it. And you gotta love that about him.
We really out here right now with TheYungHomie, and in fact, I mean, I don't think game number 1, like we've mentioned already, really gave him a chance to show what he's actually capable of.
That's true. I mean, the strategy there that Most Wanted used, I love the idea that they're kind of thinking outside the box, trying to get something to give themselves an advantage in this matchup. But you're right, as soon as KhaoticPurpose and Coviiii got really, really fed early on, there's not a whole lot you can really do on the Fafnir. And the Fafnir, while it's a very strong pick that we touched on in picks and bans, again, just I don't know if it fits the idea of the draft that Most Wanted was going for. I'd like to see a more cohesive unit this time around than just some good gods sprinkled here and there.
A little bit more frontline if Clow were to opt for such a high-pressure god such as Isis, right?
Sure, or some Peel, yeah, so something that can sit in the back line with him. The Geb, the Kepri would have been excellent on the side of Most Wanted. Certainly taking it away from Brochacho would have been smart. Or something just hyper-aggressive that can really continue to push that early game pace, like a Bacchus, something like that, that can just continue to jump on the enemy and put pressure onto them.
Well, I mean, you can already tell that Most Wanted don't want any pressure themselves. The Susano immediately being taken away from Astral Authority.
I immediately identified what was wrong and fixed it, and you gotta appreciate that. The Chang'e ban as well, trying to keep that out of the hands of Coviiii, most likely, who's been known to play a little bit of a unique style of God Pool.
And I mean, Chang'e, Kabrak, and Scotty all around, these again are very standard bans that we're accustomed to seeing. And with Most Wanted having the first pick, that does leave open the Awilix. And do you think that MORsleezy is going to feel a lot more comfortable this time around?
Without a doubt in my mind, Awilix has been the god that I think he's looked the most comfortable on across the jungler pool. Really, really smart pick early on. The problem is that you just gave Astral Authority Zeus once again, and Coviiii has just looked so dominant in that last game. It's going to be up to MORsleezy on this Awilix to really get in Zeus's face and kill him before he can do the real big damage.
And other than, well, I mean, you already see the Odin locked away from Most Wanted. What else do you think that they need to do to try and escape from the Ymir Zeus? But it seems as though Odin Zhong is the solution.
Interesting. Picking the Zhong into the Ymir. Usually Ymir, the one that really shuts down Zhong with those walls in the jungle, can really prevent his escape. Ares, signature, Brochacho going to be locked in. Love it against the Awilix and the Odin. Both need their leaps in order to get away, and neither has a CC immune ultimate. Really, really strong pick out of the support for Astral Authority. I do like the Odin pick for Most Wanted, even though many would say, oh, there's no way Astral Authority is going to take Odin because they won't pick it into Awilix. But it's Wolves, and he'll pick that into anything. He doesn't care what you're picking, so I like the idea to take that Zeus-Odin combo away.
Well, if you get a Blink online, it doesn't matter too much whether it's an Odin versus an Awilix. And
sure.
A player like Wolves, I'm certain, would be able to show that kind of effectiveness still in team fights. But we see the Zeus, Ares, and the Ymir, all three that can be locked down by Odin. And do you think that Astral Authority are concerned in the slightest about this?
Not really. I mean, look at Brochacho and Trans on stream. They're chilling, man. They're not worried about that. Those guys have been around long enough to know how to play around that Odin, a Phantom likely to be picked up. Apollo is interesting, again, but you don't want to pick too many leaps against the Awilix. That's the idea of this composition behind Most Wanted. It's either you sit in the Odin cage and you hold that, or you jump out and get pulled back in by Awilix. I was expecting something like an Anhur or hi-rez, but instead Apollo for Transonics, who's very, very comfortable on this god, can use it very well, but there's another one that gets stuck down in that Odin cage.
The Transonics isn't looking to get completely shut out and camped by the Awilix. And when you do factor in, like you mentioned, you said the Anhur and the hi-rez, but trying to jump out of an Odin ring with an Awilix lurking right around the corner always spells disaster.
Can be difficult for sure. And Apollo has the option to go up into his ultimate as soon as he gets caged down, and there isn't a whole lot of immediate burst damage that can knock him out of that ultimate, so this is a smart pick by Astral Authority.
And I like that you mentioned the immediate burst damage, because you see Most Wanted opting for the Terra. What would you like for a last pick here?
Need something in the Hunter position. Medusa's banned away, so Anhur's pretty strong. I like this idea from Most Wanted. Can control that lane up against Apollo and does bring some immediate burst damage to their composition.
And I mean, it's still a bit of a concern though, because you've got the initial lane matchups of the Anhur versus the Apollo, but do you think overall that this draft would be significantly better than what Astral Authority or what Most Wanted pulled out the first time around?
It's a little bit more cohesive in terms of the interactions between the Awilix and the Odin and the Zhong, but there's not a ton of protection for Clow on the Zhong. Again, the Nemesis ban was very smart. KhaoticPurpose can play that very well, and of course shuts down that mid laner. But there's a lot, again, of just AoE zone control from Astral Authority's draft. And again, if Most Wanted don't get pressure early on with this Awilix, it's easy to fall behind and become less and less useful on that character in the jungle.
Well, it's time to find out now if this is going to be the end of the spring split for Most Wanted. We've got Hindu and FDOT. Take it away.
Yes, we've got an exciting one for you if things go the way that Most Wanted wants them to go. Obviously, best of 3, so M-Dub's trying to stretch this one. Whether that's actually going to happen different story.
I like both compositions, though, on paper. You've got Astral Authority with the double Guardian composition here. Problem with Astral Authority's comp is who's going to peel on the backside? Because Rat's going to go in. Zeus and Apollo are going to have to self-peel a lot in this game because they're not going to get any help from Ymir and Ares. They're very much frontline Guardians that want to get aggressive, especially if Wolves is playing the Ymir. On top of that, you've also got Most Wanted on the left-hand side, where Anhur is going to be left alone because everybody else is going to be in together as a 5-man unit. So Anhur's got to look after himself as well. Both of these backlines have very similar situations to deal with.
So one thing that I don't think the Des touched on too much was how familiar everybody is with their characters. Clow has a very eclectic god pool.
Sure.
We saw him on the Isis. This is his Zhong. He plays Poseidon, which is meta at the moment.
And Hades. That's it.
Hades.
That's it.
That's kind of it, yeah.
That's pretty much his god pool, from what I know of Clow. Like, after seeing him for some time. Now and again, they'll touch on Vulcan, because he went through a Vulcan phase when Isis wasn't very good. But we've seen his Isis so far. Now he's going to Zhong. Now, Zhong, obviously, this is the same patch we saw from Gauntlet last week for you guys at home, too. If you don't recognize it, it's the current one where Scotty is still strong. That's why she's getting banned. The dog is still a little bit on the hard side to deal with.
I like dogs.
I know you do.
That's my whole piece
What about
of
lions? What about lions? They're technically cats, right? Do you like that?
So when I first started playing Smite,
You thought it was a dog?
I thought he was a chicken. Because he got the feathers on the head.
You really thought that was a chicken?
We used to call him the
What kind of
Chicken Man.
chicken looks like that? With a what kind of chicken has a tail like that?
We used to call him the Chicken Man. Watch out, rotation from the Chicken Man. We'll see if it happens later. This guy here, though, Brochacho on the Ares.
Classic.
This is, I started that conversation about Clow's pick so I could talk about Brochacho's pick. Him on the Ares here. This is as classic as, I mean, pick your favorite player and their favorite god. Brochacho here, he's been doing this on PC, he's been doing this on console. This is his god, he knows how to play it. It's aggressive, and yet he still knows how to peel for his teammates. I love Brochacho on this character.
Good team aggression mid lane there, but I think Most Wanted noticed it in time and fell back towards the tower. What we've seen in the map so far is Astral have decided to control the whole right-hand side of the map, which means they get all the speeds and blues, whereas Most Wanted have invaded, stolen away the purple buff and the red, giving that one over to Fatal Ghost, and they're going to control the left-hand side of the map in early on. This is pretty standard between teams that recognize that whether they've got a strength or a weaknesses. It's generally the team that is on the losing end, doesn't get a choice and just has to fall to stay on one side of the map.
One thing that is staying the same from game 1 and game number 2 is Astral's command of the vision of the Gold Fury. The Oracles have seemed to be on the number 1 on Astral's list. The honeydew list. That's what they're looking to do all the time. Most Wanted, they're kind of lax.
It gives you a lot of presence, so those oracles are so important in terms of free golden experience. They're easy access, middle of the map. Free ward for a little while is not something to like overlook as well, especially at the start of the game when warding is very difficult because everybody wants to make sure they've got consumables to survive the laning phase.
And it's not just about the Gold Fury over there, Graham. It's also as far as the jungle pathing.
Yep.
You want to go behind your opponent, you're going to have to walk through that Gold Fury or take the long way closer to the mid lane, which is where people usually ward. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, and it really shuts down that left side for the jungler.
Right now, though, Transonics has been left in a 2v1 at the start of the game. He's done very well to stay equal level right now with Fatal Ghost. The difference is, look at the two supports. Still level 3 at the moment, but Brochacho and KhaoticPurpose have got a plan here.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a slow KhaoticPurpose from around on the backside. MORsleezy jumps right on out. There's KhaoticPurpose in trouble. Jumped on top by TheYungHomie. A nice little detonate from the Zeus keeps everyone at bay.
Astral Authority got very, very lucky in that engagement, and the chain miss from Brochacho at the same time. We also saw the follow-up from KhaoticPurpose. He didn't find the stun either, and then they continued to fight that against an Odin and the whole composition that Most Wanted have there. They got away scot-free, and they should have been punished heavier.
I feel like in that scenario, you're kind of just stuck. You've already committed. There's not much you can do after the fact. This time, M-Dub starting the party. Aegis used by Chaotic and Coviiii, and Coviii's the one to bite back. Brochacho gets number 2. Rat in the sky finds the knockup on Clow, but the stun from the Paintbrush Man shuts it down. First blood and extra points come in the way of Astral.
Now look at the defensive mindset in the reverse situation of Fortune there in the mid lane. Astral went aggressive and messed up. They get away with murder. Next thing, Most Wanted, they go aggressive. They mess up, and instead of getting away with murder, they get punished with losing 2 lives. And the worst thing about that is that one of those kills went to an Ares, and the other one went to a Zeus.
Yeah, those are the 2 guys. So, listen, I'm not going to give Astral credit where it's not due, but if they had messed up that fight on purpose...
Yeah, okay. Now you're going too deep. Now you're going way down that rabbit hole of giving players too much credit.
Hey, look, maybe you guys can win the team fight, Most Wanted. Come get it. And then they just bop pop him on the nose?
I don't think I've ever seen a single Smite team that have done that, like, and been serious, where they've been like, listen, we lost that fight on purpose because we knew they'd try and fight us again and we'd win the fight. That
You gotta
doesn't
talk.
happen.
You gotta talk to the energy guys more often than you do.
Whatever.
Every team fight they lose, they say it's on purpose.
Every team says they win scrims too, but I don't believe that crap either. Like, come on, don't make me try and fall for that. Like, if the world was perfect, the world of scrims would be the Pro League and we'd have 10 teams that are 10-0, even though they're playing against each other.
Shouts to Samshu and Vesalius, the kings of the scrims.
So many kings of scrims, I swear. Just don't see him perform at LAN, that's the worst thing for it.
And that's one of the big differences here for Astral Authority is KhaoticPurpose actually showing up for LAN. He's not just showing up, but he's doing it big. He had so much impact in game number 1, and in game number 2, sure, he didn't cause the first blood, but he was there and looked for the third.
One thing I don't like so far in the build from Astral Authority, I'm looking at Brochacho here. He went Shell at the start of the game. Now, a lot of people talk about Shell being very strong against Zhong, and rightly so. It is strong against Zhong, but I would have liked to see him potentially get the meditation, which will keep his team topped off earlier. Zhong's not going to be that much of an issue for his team until he himself will be around level 12 anyway, which means he has time to get that Shell later on. Meditation's a lot more useful at the start of the game. Luckily, though, they've not been punished for it.
Very important oracles there coming out for Most Wanted. One, it's going to cut the lead a little bit short as they're down 1,000 gold. cdot able to get out of there no problem. But 2, it also shows me that they're actually thinking about it.
Yeah.
They just weren't thinking about it in game number 1, or they were beat to the punch literally every time. I'm not buying that one. Most Wanted showing some presence on the left side. Very happy that they got that one.
Pressure from Most Wanted now really needs to either go to the Apollo, where we can see right now oMarsleezy is looking for Transonics, who immediately escapes from the danger, or towards Coviiii in the mid lane. The Zeus and Apollo are really the potential big damage dealers in this game. They have to try and focus one of these down. Continuing to allow them to farm up means it's not going to work out very well for them as this game goes on.
Yeah, now this is one of the things that Transonics has definitely had to focus on in Season 4. Astral Authority's strategy most of the time, just leave Trans alone.
To do his own work, yeah.
Hang out, you're going to be beat for a while, and then later on, we'll call you up, and you'll come through, and you'll bring the street sweeper. That's what he does, and so he's no stranger to just playing against an Anhur as a Shibalanke or an Apollo or sitting in the 2v1, and that's one of the bigger changes that Trans has had to make from Season 3 to Season 4.
And you talk about this being in a 2v1 at the start of the game. Well, look at Transonics against Fatal Ghost now. There's a level lead for him.
AP's going to dash in on oMarsleezy, finds the stun,
Good chain.
chain through the wall, the beads to get out the jump. Very important play coming out from the support player right there. oMarsleezy, below half HP, more importantly, no bead.
The shackles that Ares uses, not an easy ability to confirm all 3 in the natural environment of PC. When you convert that to console as well, it becomes even more tricky as time goes on as well.
Through a wall.
Through a wall.
Got to give it up to him.
Wolves
Wolves
got a
gets the
solo
solo
kill.
on the right side. Goldtree pulled on the left. Juggler lands on top of oMarsleezy.
Clow.
Dash forward, and he's going to pop open the mollusk. KP gets the kill. There's trouble in the ring right now.
Good impale.
YungHomie puts his team on the board. Fatal Ghost gets 2.
Really good play from Most Wanted there to pick up 2 kills. That's the combination Most Wanted are looking for. The Odin ring and the Zhong combining together with both their ultimates. None of the gods on Astral have leaps to get away. Not a single one has an escape really from getting out of that ring other than an ultimate at best. If you can trap them in there and allow Zhong to do the ghost work, you're gonna have a good time.
That's why you pick that's why Most Wanted picked the Awilix first. You
Yes.
get yourself into some hot water by picking Awilix first because, well, all right, fine, we'll pick nobody with a jump. But then you pick Odin, and you're like, well, I wish we had some jumps. So right there, Astral Authority, you know what? Astral Authority's sitting there just wishing, man, I wish Ganesh was out.
I do like the picks and bans from Most Wanted because of what they did with the Awilix though. But yeah, you're right. With a Ganesh, that'd be fantastic. He'll be out eventually. But the combo of going to Awilix first means that the first 2 picks from Astral will be like, well, let's not focus on jumps just yet because
Right.
it's not very good against that. But then they lock in Odin, you're like, oh man, but I've got to deal with that. Hang on a second.
Brochacho gets the beads out of the mid laner. Love the way he jumps or runs underneath YungHomie. Misses the chain, but it's not that big a deal. Here's the jump in on the Hunter. Transonics avoids the knockup and just slowly walks around. Now here comes the jungler. Trans is in trouble, looking for the inevitable kills. oMarsleezy, they opt to walk away.
The impale timing was not the greatest from Fatal Ghost there. If you know you're going to knock them away, you need to communicate for oMarsleezy to know it, or just hold it and keep running in hands until he's about to leave range, then look for the impale.
That was a guaranteed kill if Fatal Ghost plays that a little better. That has got to be disappointing for the Hunter and the Jungler on the side of Most Wanted.
I mean, you look at Transonics too.
That's
No
rough.
ultimate available, no beads available for that gank attempt, but he still gets away with his life just because of one unfortunate mistimed ability.
That was rough. Love the small play he makes when Anhur jumps on him using the mez.
Yep.
perfect play. That was gorgeous.
And that's the classic thing you want to do with Apollo is the mez is there for that. But the moment the mez is down is the moment you want to be going in on Apollo if you can. The dash is helpful for him to get away, but it's not as helpful as that mez is because of the protection boost as well.
And it's so the mez stopped the knockup. The knockup into the impale stun, he's toasted. He knows he's got no option. He needs to nail that mez perfectly, and he does so. Transonics, so much confidence in his own ability.
Ratatoskr in the sky right now, looking to come down in the jungle onto 2 members, and they're in a bit of trouble. But wait, it's a Zhong, Queen, and Odin. Are you crazy?
They're locked up, and they're in trouble now. There's the shell as the support player shows up. Most Wanted gonna walk out of that one. Here comes Fatal Ghost, spears through the middle, gets one for himself. OMarsleezy gets the second, but not before Coviiii takes one out on him. 2 for 1 so far. Most Wanted on the upside, but the doubleune for Coviiii. That's a good one.
Was not there at the time, but now Zeus has arrived, and he's gonna make sure that Most Wanted will not get away with scot-free. They drop 2 kills before Coviiii and Wolves turn up to save the day.
My man Coviiii feeling himself, and he's gonna turn it around. Wolves helps out the mid lane. Coviiii staying alive. He taunts the opposition. OMarsleezy tries to punish him for it, and Wolves says, hey, yo, no way. That's my mid laner, and they're gonna get the Gold Fury on top of it all. Beautiful play by Astral Authority. 8-4 at 10 minutes. And they're leading it by 4.
Now, I know you're saying it's a beautiful play from Astral Authority. I'm in the complete reverse. That was a stupid play from Astral. The initiation was the dumbest thing I've seen in a while. KhaoticPurpose on Ratatoskr on his own goes near the red buff, engages against a Zhong, Queen, and Odin before his team can even get there. He's lucky he lives. He still goes down eventually. They lose 2 kills before the reinforcements arrive. It's a little bit too risky to be doing that because as this game goes on, Most Wanted can clean them up quicker and get out of there and make sure they don't get punished afterwards. They hung around Most Wanted. That's why it looked good for Astral. Yeah. That was not a good play from Astral. They got lucky again.
You're lucky. I don't like lucky. YoungHomie gonna get pulled here. No beads available, and that's gonna be trouble. 3 players jump on down. 3 ultimates used. That's going to be the second kill for the jungler.
El Clasico Odin versus Ares there for you. Odin is fantastic, but up against an Ares, you want to make sure you've got some way to avoid the no escape or be prepared to go on a wild ride that you don't want to go on because you will be pulled all the way back to wherever Brochacho is.
We need a frog god. We need a frog god so I can say Mr. Frog's Wild Ride.
Mr. Frog's Wild Ride.
Is that a book y'all read it back in? No, Mr. Frog and Mr. Toad?
No, we just had Spot.
Spot? Was that a dog?
Yeah.
The best dog from children's books is definitely Clifford.
Clifford, the big red dog?
Clifford, the big red dog!
There we go. We actually agreed on something. That's unusual.
That's a first.
I know. Cloud second in the mid lane, though, at level 11. He's still behind that of Coviiii, and this is a key for Most Wanted now that they just need to hold back and farm a little bit. Obviously, the experience lead is ever so slightly in Astral's favor right now, as we can see, because of the level difference, but getting these second relics are so important, especially to someone like Zhong.
And right now, Zhong doing okay. He's 0-1-4, and that's a solid okay. He could be doing better. Talking to Chaos a lot last week when he was here for the Gauntlet Land representing United. He's a Zhong player on the PC side of things. And he was saying, like, Zhong is one of these characters that you're looking for not just even, but a lead. You want to be ahead because Zhong whole thing is being tankier than you want to go up against.
Surviving longer and dealing damage over time with that survivability is what he's looking for. Most of the other mages in the game are all focused around burst potential, in, out, quick engagements. Zhong wants to be in there for the long haul. He wants to make sure you're in the fight for the long haul too, because over time, he should be able to weather the storm of your burst and turn it around back on you.
And whether or not that's actually going to happen
is a different story.
Exactly.
Which is always the issue that Zhong has had. Sometimes he will be about. Surprised we didn't see a Nemesis pickup, though, which was available potentially to see Astral go for, but not this time round.
Exactly. KhaoticPurpose is known for that Nemesis, so got to watch out for that one. Mid lane, we have a couple of players trying to make use of it, but Astral's actually going to dip out the back.
It's just a waiting game now from Astral and Most Wanted because the Gold Fury being down. That on the right-hand side, though, could see a Portal Demon start, but hang on a second. In the sky right now is KhaoticPurpose. Looking to try and collapse on to cdot, but cdot's already popped the ultimate. Meanwhile, Coviiii. Yeah,
Coviii's in trouble. Down comes the ring. He drops an ultimate of his own. Inside, Coviiii gets one. That's how you play, Zeus. The double kill for the mid lane. 6-1-3. He is lights out while lighting them up.
It's a Zeus.
Oh, man.
It's a
Oh,
Zeus.
man.
If you go back to Season 1 of Smite, when Smite first came out, and one of the first times, Odin and Zeus comps were the rage. And one of the reasons they were rage is because of the circle in the circle. Well, it also works against an Odin. If you jump in a circle and put a Zeus in there and he's got his ultimate up, if you don't kill him quick, you're probably not going to have a good time.
Odin can't buy rage. Imagine if Odin could, Zeus can't buy it. Imagine if Zeus could crit.
It's a good save. Good save. That was a good save. I was like, oh, he messed up there. Brochacho, though, he's in a bit of trouble now. The root combo with cdot rotating over. Nice kill for them, but it's not going to be a whole lot of anything to be able to do anything with.
It's just, like you said, it's not that big of a deal for Most Wanted, but that cannot happen to Brochacho. He just got caught out walking around, not paying attention. That cannot happen, and that, man, that really got to go.
Imagine if Zeus Chain Lightning proked chins.
Oh, my goodness.
Imagine that, if you could have chins and proc that.
That's
worse than crit. That's worse than crit.
That's got to be worse.
Chins procs on Chain Lightning? Hell yeah, it's worse.
So what I was going to say about Coviiii before I made a fool of myself was the fact that Zeus has to be played one way. If you've ever spoken to aggro, he's probably brought this up. Zeus cannot run away or dip out and dodge and weave. You've got to just turn and punch him in the face. That is how Zeus plays. You're not going to get away by as playing Zeus. You just got to kill them before they kill you.
I call it stand and bang, which is all I've ever done. It's him and AMC is along the same sort of path. Right now, he's going to stand and bang again.
MORsleezy jumps on him, brings him down to about 20% HP, but it's the Hunter that does the dirty work. There's Fatal Ghost, jumped on top by the jungler, and YungHomie's in trouble. One more shot will do it. Mortality Wolves brings it to him. Clow gets brought by the support. And Transonics gets the kill.
Love what Brochacho did there. Clow's ultimate was on cooldown. He knew he'd done everything he could and immediately pulls him in after that, knowing that the protections are lower. This is a free pick for them. Not only that, they're now going for the Gold Fury.
There's Wolves chasing down the left side. Keep an eye on MORsleezy and cdot, though. Gold Fury down low. There's the Moonlight Charge. Pull is good. Gold Fury is leashed. Beautiful play by the jungle.
Gold Fury reset's really important here for Most Wanted. The main thing for them to do, though, is do exactly what they're doing and try and get out. Problem is, cdot is not tanky enough just yet to deal with the front line of Astral.
So the mistake that Astral made was only one player was in the ring. Everybody else was outside. MORsleezy with perfect precision winds up getting the right person to knock up and pull. That resets it. And look how they adjust. Wolves stands inside the ring and ults. He's CC immune. Yes, it's a nice confirm, but he's not going to get knocked up. They cannot reset it a second time. In-game adaptation coming out from Astral Authority. Love it.
Now, MORsleezy on that Awilix then towards the end. You saw him trying to hang around and look for the steal. What I would have liked for MORsleezy to do then was there was actually pressure in the mid lane, and the tier 1 tower's already at half health there. If he would have gone mid lane, he could have potentially taken the tier 1 tower or forced one of the members on that Gold Fury to come over, which makes it a lot more damage you're going to take from the Gold Fury, which means you could potentially go back over there. Small thing that you can look back at the game tape and go, maybe I should have gone for the tier 1 here. It could have answered some of that gold back, or at least provided me farm and pressure instead of waiting around hoping to steal.
I like the play that he made, and I think that's one of those adrenaline plays where, he got it, right? He did what he needed to do the first time around. Maybe I can do it a second time. Not realizing that he's playing one of the better teams in the league. They're going to change what they do. They're not going to let that happen twice. So
now I mentioned at the start of the game as well with Astral's composition here, how the backline will be left alone. Notice how often Coviii's been caught alone. As I say, getting caught alone, MORsleezy, yeah, you don't want to do that, buddy.
MORsleezy just jumps on in there and, well, gets caught and just demolished.
But this composition with Coviiii right now and the Zeus, he is being left alone a bit too much. He's not being protected, whether it's him being out of position. Hold that thought. cdot's out of position, so let's watch.
I see something. There's cdot. He's going to get frozen. He's going to get walled. He's going to get pulled. He's going to get dead. Mortality Wolves one more time. Up on top.
Wall.
4-0-5. Clow's getting chased down. Beads to get rid of the slow, but there's nowhere to go, Clow. There's nowhere to go.
That was literally Most Wanted trying to help out the solo lane who was in pressure, and instead of more people coming over, Clow ends up sacrificing himself to the gods of doom.
Beads does not get you through walls.
So now the beads I liked because he was preempting the Wolves to freeze him. So he wanted to try and beads that and avoid the freeze and walk away. The problem is that Wolves either A, didn't have it up, or B, held it, and just let the Glacial Strike and the wall do the work with the rest of his team.
MORsleezy tries to find the pull on the back end, gets it beads, and he's going to fall down as well. Fatal Ghost doing work against Wolves. Wolves can't walk out thanks to the ring coming out from mid. YungHomie.
Tanky enough. Tanky days for Astral. That's all it's about there, is they can just, with a Ymir and an Ares, they'll be that fine for a while. Nobody aggressed on Most Wanted, though, because they couldn't deal with the fact that Coviiii was still waiting in the wings.
It looked like Wolves walked up to a pull door and pushed it, and then tried a second time and just had to sort of wait. Brochacho's actually in trouble. Chains on cdot. and that's going to be a big deal. See, the chains on Terra. With Terra not being able to, that's her whole thing.
Sure.
She wants to dash through the monolith and find the root.
Well, once again, Most Wanted get baited into a bad situation. Overextending Transonics now rotates in. cdot no ult this time round. KhaoticPurpose goes to the back to force him away, allowing cdot to be isolated a little bit longer, but they still can't kill him.
He's still alive. Coviiii finds it. There it is. And Transonics gets his third of the contest. That's what we mentioned. I mentioned it early on. That's the Transonics calling card. Look for him to have pathing similar to an assassin. Transonics comes and cuts everybody off from the front line, hits them with the mez, waits for the team to catch up. That's an important part, and then goes to town.
Now you know as well with the left-hand side of things, if you've got a mid laner who's in the left-hand line split pushing, things are not looking good for Most Wanted right now.
Sure.
With Astral though, they can start siege up tier 2s, knowing that in the left, the mid laner's not even there.
Either way, right now, almost 20 minutes into this one, Astral certainly on top, looking to end this best of 3 in just 2. They're leading by over 10,000 gold and a slew of kills. It's 13-4 to be precise.
Goodbye, Clow.
And 14 kills up is
Goodbye,
Astral.
Clow.
Really?
Rest in peace.
No, I think he gets out of this one.
I think Trans is overstayed his welcome, but the whole team's
Cloud
coming to
can
help
get
it
out
out.
of this one, definitely.
Really?
Ah, man, sometimes you're just not right.
It was so close in that situation, I'll be honest. It was real close.
Man, this,
At that point in time, it was really close.
it was close.
But sometimes you just gotta force the issue.
All right, now you turn this one into a Clow fiesta.
You went too far. You killed it.
You didn't like that one?
I'm leaving.
I like it. He's actually getting up and leaving, ladies and gentlemen.
Can't handle it anymore. With how this game's gone, though, it's all back to Astral are the #1 team in NA. Most Wanted are the 8th-seeded team. On paper, when you look at the results, you're going to say, yeah, Astral should win this one. But give credit where it's due. Most Wanted came out with 2 strategies today that I kind of like the idea of. They went for a proxy farm between the tier 1 and tier 2 to try and shake things up. Didn't work as well as they expected. But then game 2, I like the Awilix pick first and the Odin and Zhong to follow it because you're forcing them into engagements that they can't really handle if you play it right. Bad news is, wasn't played right.
Exactly. There was a little bit of trouble in the execution of it all. Fire Giant going to be looked at, not stolen. Nice shot coming out from Anhur, but not enough to seal the deal. YoungHomie drops on the ring. Let's listen to Astral as they chase down M-Dubs.
Hey, homie! Where you going, homie, bro? Hey, where you going? Guys.
Yeah, we're going long way, Stay in the waves.
Keep listening to the call. Oh my god, dude. Savage shit, man. Okay, that's game. We got Fire Giant buff.
What are you doing?
All your CC for me, Wolves. I have chance for it.
I have a wall.
Yo, Wolves, you have med up? You have med up, Wolves?
No,
I'm
yeah,
taking,
yeah,
I'm
dude.
taking.
You want me to med?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of mana. If we're gonna fight.
Go left. Go
I'll
left.
med you like when
Yeah,
they
when we
start
get a little more
initiating.
damage.
Yeah.
Tank
Just
it,
stay
Wolves.
near me,
Tank
yeah.
this one. What's up, boys? Yeah, we're just taking your shit, bro. We're at your Phoenix, dude. No, back up here. We have back up there. Back up.
Go bullets, please.
Just do portal.
Yeah, portal now.
Yeah,
Like,
Do
then
I
we'll
smell
go.
a gem of isolation?
Do I smell game right here?
As long as it smells like
Yup, just small game.
I smell game too, dude.
That's fucking G Jizzle, bro. I don't know
I'm
what
sitting
it
in
is.
3K again. That's like the 4th time I've gotten 3K. The fuck?
Well, I'm certainly smelling something, and I love the smell right now if you're rooting for Astral. They are on a tear. They're having a good time. What I really like, though, you hear them yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
You'll never hear Transonics or Wolves.
But you
They
saw
are
Trans in
that-
their face, he's just smiling. He can't help but smile though. He wants
of
to be
course.
straight-faced, but like, even he's having a little giggle where they're all having a laugh and a scream at each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's got to have a giggle, mate.
Sure. You got to. I know what you're trying to do there. I'm not going to fall for it. Astral technically could have ended the game there, but I like the idea of them just falling back, not making mistakes, because even though you're up a massive amount, you could make a mistake and allow them to survive a little bit longer.
So that goes back to El Brochacho right here.
The calm voice in the back.
Exactly. So you have Coviiii and KhaoticPurpose hooting and hollering, and then you have Wolves and Transonics just very stoic, and they're always locked in game time, even outside of game. That's what they're kind of like. And Brochacho is somewhere in between, where he's going to get excited, he's going to get amped up, but he's that voice of, I don't even want to say reason. Brochacho is very important for this team, and he's the guy that says you practice how you perform.
He's the voice of don't be an idiot right now. That's what it is. It's not reason, it's just like, okay, 1 second, we're having fun, but let's not be stupid and throw the game away.
This is the guy. This is the guy that plays against Obey the same way that he plays against the bottom challenger team. He wants to instill good performance, good tactics, and good habits in his players, and that's exactly what's coming out here. That's why they're on top as hard as they are.
Purpose in the sky now, thinking about coming down. Will go straight in as the no escape comes through too. Ghost is gone. YungHomie is gone. Clow, goodbye. Next on the list, is it Sleazy?
And there's going to be 2 more alive. Sleazy. That's going to be triple kill for Coviiii. Roll them dice, baby. cdot, call it 4. It's all for the win. Coviiii and his squad coming into the throne room. That's all, folks. Deicide and the game. Astral Authority move on to semifinals, making mincemeat out of Most Wanted.
And obviously, with him first seed versus 8th seed, you expect that. But yes, Astral Authority will move on to the semifinals tomorrow. Their opposition we'll find out later on today. So we've still got 3 more quarterfinals to bring you. Some of them a little bit closer. Who's that man in that snazzy suit?
All right. I don't know about snazzy. The shirt, too much. All right, here's a little fashion tip. You got one statement piece. Either pick the shirt or the jacket. Either way, the real conversation.
Listen, your hair is alive and you're talking to people about outfits and stuff?
That's what we do, baby.
It's wild.
That's what we do, baby. Here's the real question about this matchup, though. Is that lavender or mauve?
Lavender.
You think that's lavender?
That's lavender. Definitely lavender. Oh.
Clow and YungHomie having a big moment right there. I kind of wanted to catch that a little bit. But you heard YungHomie talk about how Clow was such a big part of bringing him into the game and bring him into the scene. And these guys are guys that actually really, really try it out. I think if you look in the past, specifically YungHomie and people like Clow, you kind of look at their history and say, oh, they're not a serious type person. They're not really here for what a lot of the other teams are here for.
They are the fun and entertainment of that team, and they actually bring a lot of fun and entertainment to the scene as well, but it doesn't mean they really don't want to win.
Well,
that's the key. They want to win. They're trying to get there. They're just not making it.
That's the big page that they've turned over. Not this land, but even a little bit before. You can look at Cloud taking things a little bit more seriously. And so this one's gonna feel. This one's gonna hurt a little bit for the guys that Most Wanted. Hopefully they can wrap it up and perform a little bit better in the future. But you know, got to give credit where credit's due. Astral absolutely came out to play and looked fantastic.
All the way.
We're gonna dive a little bit deeper into this one. It's Taco and Aggro on the desk.
Thanks so much, F-Dot. And indeed, a heartbreaking defeat there. You can really see that, like, just downfall on Cloud's face. But, I mean, we do have to give it to Astral Authority. Their performance was absolutely phenomenal.
They just look like an absolutely dominant team. I mean, there were question marks coming into this about whether or not they would play the same on LAN as they did online. I'm done questioning that team as far as that performance goes. They absolutely killed it really, really strong, leaving no doubt that they are one of, if not the best team in North America right now.
And again, it was just the Coviiii show along with Brochacho and KhaoticPurpose, just all together, these members just absolutely incredible performance. I mean, Coviiii even managed to pick up 2 triple kills.
You got a triple kill and a quadra kill at the end there. It was a quad. I mean, his Zeus is nasty. That's what makes Astral Authority so difficult to play against is, do you ban Zeus from Coviiii, then he just picks Thoth and runs you anyways? Do you ban Susano from KhaoticPurpose, then he'll just pick Ratatoskr and destroy you anyway? It doesn't matter. How do you pick and ban against this team?
It's the ability for this team to be able to flick so many different selections and still make it work all together in one draft. That's the chemistry that you're looking for in a team. And I have to say, I think a lot of that is also due to, you could tell in the listening comms, Brochacho's shot calling and leadership capabilities were on point.
Not only is Brochacho a great support and really, really difficult to handle for the opposition, but what he means for this team in terms of the atmosphere, not only in-game but out of game, in my mind, just cannot be overstated. There's a lot of personality on this team. There's a lot of, these guys are just trying to chill and, we'll come in and practice, but we're not going to take it that seriously. Josh doesn't handle that. He's like, you're going to be here, you're going to be on time, and you're going to practice hard like you mean it. You heard F-Dot talking about it on the cast. You need someone like that on your team when you've got this much talent to corral, and it's really impressive what him and the rest of Astral Authority have been able to do.
Well, corralling the talent is definitely what looked to be pretty easy for Astral Authority, and I'd like to draw it back to a team fight, actually, around the 940 mark in the back Harpies jungle. We talked about it a lot, actually, and it looked like it was going to go the way of Most Wanted for a second. You had Fatal Ghost picking up a couple kills, but then Coviiii on that Zeus just absolute devastation.
This was the triple kill for Coviiii, and the positioning was phenomenal. But again, I just want to focus this one on Wolves. His teleport in, he gets there significantly before cdot and is able to protect Coviiii throughout, even after Coviiii lets him know with a little bit right there. This angle from Wolves is phenomenal, blocks off a lot of the damage from going into that Odin cage, helps Coviiii pick up Clow, but the wall to catch Fatal Ghost on the jump, and then he hits the ice carpet without any sort of setup, allowing Coviiii to pick up that kill. Wolves played this fight absolutely beautifully.
And every single wall that I saw from Wolves this game, just completely crushing it. There was nowhere for anybody to run, and when you have a Zeus on your team, that's exactly what you need. You need somebody who's going to cut off the opposition, ensure that their escape routes are nowhere to be found, and just beautiful gameplay all around.
And you're picking, you have got 2 Guardians, yes, to protect the Zeus, but it's 2 aggressive Guardians. You've got Ymir, and a solo Ymir who's going to try and be in the enemy backline, and then you've got the Ares. Ares doesn't have a whole lot of appeal in terms of CC for the kit. Really speaks to the communication and how well Astral Authority team fight, that they're able to use 2 aggressive supports to peel for a character like Zeus.
Well, speaking of Guardians, Aggro, we actually have one of the Guardian players and the Guardian player from Astral Authority here with us right now. Brochacho, how you feeling?
I'm standing by here with Brochacho, longtime bud here, actually. It's a pleasure to stand here after your victory, heading up into the semifinals. There's a lot to talk about here. I'm just going to jump right in. Let's talk about KhaoticPurpose. We saw a little bit about the video, transformed from poor player at LAN to what we just saw. What happened?
Chaotic's just a great kid. I think his old team, he kind of lacked a little bit of trust with. On this team, we made sure when I even brought him onto the team that wasn't going to be a factor. You got to trust all 4 members on your team, and I think it really speaks volumes of how he showed up at LAN right now.
I mean, we see familiar performances from players like Wolves and Transonics, and I want to talk about that unit and that trust. You are one of the bigger leaders, I think, that we've seen in Smite across both PC and SCL. I think that what you bring to your team is very important. Give us a little bit of insight into that. How do you instill that trust in your teammates?
I think as your support player, you're supposed to be protecting your team, and that the role speaks for itself. Being the captain of this team, the guys listen to my shot calls. If I say an objective, they're always thinking about the objective. If I'm telling them to reset and look to go to somewhere else, they don't even second guess it. And I think that's what our team does best, is we don't second guess each other. Especially at LAN, man. I mean, it's when you're hanging with your friends and you're all hyped and yelling. I can't even say how much, I don't want to use the wrong word, but crap talk, I guess is a good way to say it. There's a lot of crap talk going on. So.
Yeah, no, we had a listen in or two. We got to listen to you guys.
Yeah, there was a lot of crap talking from us, but that's just I mean, that's the nature of the game. We're having a good time. It's good sportsmanship at the end. We still give the guys a handshake, so.
I mean, that's part of the game. I think Aggro really nailed it when he said there's a difference between having a big ego and being confident. You got to be confident, but you can't go past that line and that limit. How do you really toe that line and get your players to? Because you got players like Wolves and Transonics that they're quiet beasts, and then you have KhaoticPurpose. How do you make that mesh? That seems tough.
Honestly, I think it's crazy because I have 2 beasts on the other side of the map. When you're a support, you're usually not on the speed side of the map sometimes in the beginning, especially with the way the meta shifted a little bit. You usually stay with your mid laner a lot more. And those 2, I mean, I can't say how many times you'll hear them in comms. They bounce ideas off each other, chain CCing, the solo lane. I don't know how many first bloods have happened on that side of the map, like before I even have a chance to get over there. So I think my teams carry me, and I think that's all I got to say about it, man. It's nice to get carried. That's
what a captain's. That's what a captain's got to say.
Yeah,
that's what you got to say. I noticed you had a coach there as well, Mr. Matt Coys. How long have you been working with Matt Coys, and what does he bring to the squad?
He actually, I was really impressed, man. This LAN online phase, he subs a lot for us. He's really our 6th man. When I'm not there, he's able to fill in. If Layers by some reason isn't there, he's still able to fill in. And at LAN, he actually brought a lot of ideas when he's behind us. Some coaches, I guess, are quiet. Matt Coys the whole time is talking to us, yo, this might be good here. This might be good here. And just throwing those ideas of what might be good there. I mean, game 2, you saw the draft was a little bit different from our game 1.
Yeah.
And it was a little more aggressive. But that aggressive style is what you need against a Zhong, Awilix, because they're going to be doing what the whole time? Trying to face plant on your Zeus. So we face plant right back on them.
That Zeus, Coviiii, not even going to ask a question. Just talk about him.
Yeah, he even went... that game, he asked, he's just a very adaptive player. The first thing he asked was, oh, do you think I can go Aegis here as a first active? You look at their comp, they're a heavy dive comp, not a lot of hard CC to set up the dive. So what do? You get a good Aegis off. A lot of those engagements, they would go on him, good Aegis off, now it's a good engagement for us.
I mean,
So
with the peel you had across that composition as well. Wolves also just a natural, talented player. What is it like? We talked to you about KhaoticPurpose. Now Wolves is sort of the other side where he doesn't really say much. How do you get him out of his shell, or do you even have to?
I was about to say, Wolves is known for that, man, but with me at LAN, maybe his previous teams he doesn't talk much. On this team, he's probably your second most person talking on the team, which a lot of people probably wouldn't guess that. Our quiet players are probably Coviiii and Trans. Those are the more quiet, but those are your guys that are doing damage, and they follow up off of anything that they're doing, unless they're getting like literally pounded and they need some peel. That's the only time you'll really hear them. So I think the team dynamic that we have going for us right now is looking great, man. I can't wait to get into tomorrow.
So you go on into tomorrow into the semifinals. Any specific plans you have? You obviously don't know who your opposition is, but what are your general plans for tomorrow?
Prep is hard.
Too much away.
Prep is hard, pretty much as we did for these guys. We don't take any team lightly. Most Wanted could have came up and pulled an upset on us. We weren't going to allow that to happen. That's the same thing that goes for any team we go up against tomorrow. We're going to be prepping. We're actually going to watch the games together as a team again. And any little kinks that we see, we're going to look to pound it in.
Excellent. One more time, this is the support and the captain for Astral Authority, El Brochacho. Congratulations on your win.
No, thank you so much,
Back to the desk.